We are in the middle of an argument between Rabi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, and and we have this year's Nishmas of Imer Menachem Ben Akiva, Nishmas Ruth Basholem, Sol Bas Moshe. Sorry about that. And Refuas noch Lionel Ben Yulia Oriya. Besoch Shachol Yisrael. Zok the Gemore. Besoch Shachol Yisrael. Everybody. Says the Gemara like this. We had an argument yesterday, and the argument goes on today too, between Rabi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. The argument was a very, very simple one. The argument was that this is an introduction. We're about 5 lines from the bottom of the page, but listen to my recapping now. We said machloikes, the very simple machloikes, yush koine or not yush koine. Yush not koine. Rabbi Yochanan says yush alone is not koine. It does not belong to the ganif, and according to Rish Lakish, yush alone is koine. In other words, Rish Lakish joined our team, Rav, Rabbi, etc. So now Rabbi Yochanan challenged him from a brisa. The brisa said as follows. The brisa said that if a ganav stole something and then was makdish it, we thought the ganav was the one who was makdish it to Beis HaMikdash, and he has the power to do so. And then he slaughtered it, he shechted it after it belongs to Beis HaMikdash. He doesn't have to pay 4 and 5. Why not? Because once it belongs to Beis HaMikdash, you don't pay Arba v'Chamisha to Beis HaMikdash, because it says Re'ehu and not Beis HaMikdash regarding kefil and everything else. He only has to pay kefil to the bailim. That's all, to the original bailim, because that's nothing to do with shchita, and the shchita doesn't make him liable to pay anything because it's hekdesh. Frekt Rabbi Yochanan to Rish Lakish. What are you talking about? When was he makdish it? If it was makdish before yush, you can't. Before yush, the ganav has no power over it, right? La'achar yush, what is the la'achar yush? La'achar yush belongs to him. La'achar yush, according to Rish Lakish, it belongs completely to the ganav. Yeah, yush is koine. All he owes now is cash, but the behema belongs to him. So if he was now shechting it, shaloi hu tovech, shaloi moicher. If a person shecht something that belongs to him, is not chayv anything. That's a question. That was a problem. Answered Rish Lakish, no, really, I believe that the owner was the one makdish it. The original owner, he's the one who was makdish it before the yush. The original owner said, wherever that is, it should belong to who? To Beis HaMikdash. How could he do that? Yes, yesterday, the Gemara asked the question. The Gemara said, because Rish Lakish follows opinions, which we'll see today, that will be the star of the show today. There are opinions who say that if you own something, even though it's out of your control because a ganav took it or somebody else took it, you can still make halachic decisions regarding that. That's an opinion which we'll discover today. Now, but the Gemara asked now a new question, and let's go to the question now. We are now back on track. Frek the Gemara, the line starts with the word mechulal. That's 6 lines from the bottom of the page. Frek the Gemara, v'harei chozro keren labailim, question mark. If you're telling me that the owner was makdish it, so then who does the animal belong to? Hekdesh. There's the concept which I said yesterday very quickly, I should repeat it much slower. Kol heicha de isei, wherever it is, begaza de rachmona isei. It's as if it's in the house of the hekdesh, which means if I have an animal that happens to be in a different place, but I was makdish it, I don't care where it is now geographically. I don't even care if it's in the hands of the big mafioso, loch patli. It belongs to hekdesh, which means it's as if it's now trapped, so to speak, not trapped. It's as if it's located now in hekdesh's, I would call it embassy, right? The Japanese embassy in Tel Aviv. What kind of rules apply over there? Japan or Israel? Japan, because it's an embassy. So wherever an object or an animal of hekdesh, wherever they actually happen to be, it doesn't make a difference. It's really in the mega authority of hekdesh. We Memelech asks the question, if the bailim was makdish, why are you telling me that now the ganav has to pay double to the owner? Yet he wasn't found in the hands of the ganav. It says the edim caught it red-handed in his hands. But lemaisa, if this now belongs to hekdesh, it was not found in the hands of the ganav. It was found, maybe it's in the backyard, back garden, or his living room. But lemaisa, it belongs to hekdesh. The edim found it to be in the domain of hekdesh. So why does he have to pay double? Return the object to the bailim, which anyhow belongs to hekdesh. The bailim tomorrow morning will bring it to Beis HaMikdash, I guess, and that's all. But why is there kefil? Kefil is only if it's found in his hands, in his domain, in his real authority, in his hands. And it's not in his hands, it's in the Hekdesh. That was the question. Answers the Gemara.
It's great that he says it's Hekdesh, but it's not really.
No, exactly. No, the Balaam was makdish. According to Shlakish, it really belongs to Hekdesh, to all intents and purposes. Yeah. Because he believes that an owner can play around halachically with the object that belongs to him. Right now it's held by the Ganev. That's a side thing. Unlike Rabi Yochanan. Excuse me? Yeah. God is not an owner at all. No, that's for sure. No, that's not a question. We're done with that already. He's not an owner, for sure. It's before use. Answers the Gemara. Yeah. Kshe'amad bedin. Boom. 2 words. Kshe'amad bedin. What does Kshe'amad bedin mean? Look at Rashi. Rashi says the last Rashi on the page. Kshe'amad bedin. Sheba'u edim kodim shekdishu ba'alim. Very interesting. Listen to the chronology. Edim came to the Ganev's house and they caught him. Edim, they're like the prosecutors. They came. They found it. And now he was oimed bedin. He's not prosecuted. He was taken to Beis Din. And then, but he didn't yet give the chayfetz. It's a long process. He has a lawyer also, the Ganev. Maybe claims all kinds of other claims. Difficult childhood. I don't know, whatever it says. Yeah. So now, after he was oimed bedin and was caught, once he's caught by 2 edim, how much does he have to pay automatically? Kefil. Very good. 2 edim, twice the payment. Yeah, kefil. Now, the Baalim was makdishit. The Baalim is makdish. You only have to pay kefil. You don't have to pay above a chamisha. Why don't you have to pay above a chamisha? Because it's hekdesh. But kefil you do have to pay because kefil happened when he was caught by the edim before hekdesh took place. Afterwards, hekdesh took place, and then you don't have to pay 4 and 5 after you shechted it after it was hekdesh, because 4 or 5 you don't pay to hekdesh. Very nice. Frag the Gemara. That's not so simple. Before we continue, let me ask you the following question. And it's not such an easy question to answer. We are sweating already for a good few weeks to exactly define how does the Ganev start his Geneva session. When is he really called the Ganev, right? We have the whole chart, right? There's a kinyan, the physical kinyan, then there's yush, then there's another kinyan, or shinui, or maybe shinudat yush. Let me ask you the other question. When does the circuit come to its end? When does he finish being a Ganev and he can tick the box and say he's not a Ganev anymore for this object? When? What's the simple answer? When he returned it and kefil. Returned and kefil if necessary. All very nice. However, let me ask you a question. What happens if based in Paskind, the Ganev has to pay? That's it. The Paskind that the Ganev has to pay Keren, Kefel. Yeah, the gavel is down. Boom. He got a red letter to his house. You got to pay back that shepsel that's jumping around over there. We saw you. And it's just a technicality, a matter of technicality until he actually gets up and gives the goat back to the owner. But really, for sure, he owes it to the owner. Maybe already then you can say that the Geneva session is over. He didn't physically yet give it back, but we all know that he's supposed to, and there's no way for him to fight. The police are knocking on his door. Says the Gemara, having that in mind, now let's continue. Echidami, fact the Gemara, exactly what are you talking about when you're telling me that now that already there was a psak, the Edim caught him, and Omad Bedin, he's already standing in court. What's the story? What stage of the din are we holding by over here? If Beis Din said, go out and give him, that's the final red letter in the post. Police are on their way. That's it, Mr. Ganev. Tse, tenlo. That's the most aggressive stage in the din. It's a last call, and that's it. You got to go give it to him. It's in the hands of the police already. The court already is out of it. It's the very, very last stage. If so, and that's what you're telling me, that he was told, Tse, tenlo, red letter, police, and then the smarty pants was, then the Bailim was makdishit, and then what? And then the Ganev, slaughtered it. Because he slaughtered it, that's why he's potter from Rabbi Chamisha. Says the Gemara, Ma pitom, ma hikdish. Again, the same old question as before. What do you want for poor hekdish? Why are you talking after about hekdish over here? Even if he was not makdish, even if the animal would be secular, regular animal, but it's in his hands, and he shechted it after he got the red letter in the post, and a knock from the police, then already is not chavar bo v'chamisha. Why not? The Omarove, ten loy, if he was told, go out and give him. Final call, final demand. Tovachumochal potu. If a ganav, after he was told already clearly, very, very clearly, go give him the money back, or the animal, and then he shechted the animal, is potu from Arba v'chamisha. My time, why is that? Came in the Pascual Emil say, because they gave him already a psak, you have to give back. And it's only a matter of technicality until he gives it back. Yeah. Then v'tovachu mochar, and then he was toveach, instead of giving it back to the owner because the police are already there, and instead he quickly shechts it, Mr. Chochom, or sold it. Havele Gazlan, he's a Gazlan, he's not a Ganav anymore. Whoop, Cinderella, whoopa, he's not a Ganav, he's a Gazlan. The Gazlan en Mashalim Tashlom Arba v'chamisha. Get it? Says the Rambam, I'm basing myself on Rambam all the time. It's Machlokes Rambam and Nimukei Yosef. I'm going now to the Rambam. The Rambam says once the psak was given, his Gneva session is over. Yitzkilu returned it already to an extent. Yeah? And Mimela, now whatever it does, it's a whole new Maisa. The whole vote of Rabbi Chamisha means what? When I'm still a Ganav, and I'm what? How do you call it in Hebrew? Mishtarish bechet. I'm digging deeper into the Gneva. But once there's a very clear cutoff point, and we say, that's it, mister, you're not a Ganav anymore. Because Be'etzim, it's about to be returned. Your Gneva session is over, an hour is over. Yeah, Zoom session, Gneva session, over. So now what? Now you shechted it. It's a Gazlan. Why is it a Gazlan? Because everybody knows it belongs to the owner, and he's just going and shechting something that clearly belongs to the owner. No question, no lawyers, no ten rabbanit. It's done. The game's over. Now shechting, it's like why Gazlan? Because a Gazlan is a person who does it in your face. A Gazlan is a person who has no fear. Everybody in town knows. Everybody knows it belongs to the owner, and you're not a Ganiv anymore. You go, you shecht it. What are you? In your face. You're Gazlan. And therefore, a Gazlan doesn't have to pay 4 and 5. It's a whole new thing. That's a Rambam. There's also an explanation of the Nimukei Yosef, B'Shusfa. Questions are welcome in 4 lines in the Gemara, in 4 lines from now, 4 or 5 lines. Nimukei Yosef explains something different, and the Achronim are questioning it. He says, simply, this is like a Kinyan Gezela. Wow. Why is it Kinyan Gezela? Because now he has to pay. When the Ganev now has to pay the money, now, once there's a psak, he has to pay money. It's kilu, he bought the animal. It's very interesting thing. I'm not telling you I understand it. Now that it's his, it's kilu, a whole new thing. I don't know. They said that the Nimukei Yosef had a different gears than the Gemara. In Chayev. One sec. Let's continue the Gemara, and then I can hear your questions. Samach Tes Amud Aleph. Continues the Brisa. Chayev atalit. It's a Rova quoting in Brisa. Chayev atalit in loy. Let's say Beis Din says you're chayev. The gavel is down, you have to give him, but no red letters in the post. He wasn't yet in the hands of the police. In other words, Beis Din decided he has to give him, but it wasn't yet very, very final. Maybe he can still question it. It's not yet Gmar Din. It's not the very final psak. Maybe he can revoke it. Maybe he can still argue. Maybe they can come up to a pshara. Maybe. Then, if at that stage, which is not the very last stage, but almost last stage, his Gneva session is not over yet, and if at that point he shechts it, he has to pay 4 and 5. My timer, why? Kema deloy post kamilsa, because Beis Din are not 1,000,000% yet psak, final psak. There may be other factors, other something. A kati ganav who is still a ganav, and if he shechts, he has to pay 4 and 5. In any event, the question on Rish Lakish is as follows: why are you, Rish Lakish, telling me that we're talking about Omad Bedin, that he already has to give the animal back? And it's a very, very last stage. If this is the very last stage, then Ma Pitom has to pay 4 and 5. Forget about Hekdesh all the time. What do you want from Hekdesh? Even without Hekdesh, once his Gneva session is over, we close the, how do you call it? The circle, the cycle, the circuit is done, is over. That's it. Gemarnu, end of story. Now you shecht it as a whole new business, nothing to do with Hekdesh. Answers Rish Lakish, a very easy answer. Really, the answer is embedded in the question. Lo tzricha. And Echanami says Rish Lakish, I would opt for the other option that Beis Din said you have to give him, but it's not yet red letter and it's not yet policeman on the door. The other option, which means Rish Lakish is very good now. That's the final answer. We're talking here that there is kefil. Why is there kefil? Because he was caught by 2 Eidim. 2 Eidim went to Beis Din and snitched on him as they should. Yeah. and therefore, and based in Paskat, you have to give. Now but he's not yet giving. He heard the first hearing, the Psak Chayev, then he's calling people, lawyers, Askoni, based in Choras. He's still trying to play around here, and he can. It's not the final Psak. And therefore, what do we say? Chayev Atolitan Loi. At this stage, had he shechted it now, he would be Chayev Arba V'Chamisha. Why? He's still called a Ganav. The only reason he's not Chayev Arba V'Chamisha is because Hekdesh. Because the Baalim at that stage was makdish the animal. I guess the Baalim is fed up already from the whole court case. So the Baalim says, I prefer he should go to Hekdesh and finish. Yeah. So now, if it's Mukdash to base on Mikdash now, and then he shechted it, so even though he has the title of a Ganav, he would be Chayev Arba V'Chamisha. Because it's Hekdesh, no. Because it's Hekdesh, we say on Hekdesh shechting, you have many other things maybe. You're not Chayev Arba V'Chamisha. Because Hekdesh is not called Re'ehu, it's not Arba V'Chamisha B'Hekdesh. And now Rish Lakish came out very well. Of course, Rish Lakish's loch is not like him. I mean, he survived the Brisa, but it's not like he's more correct than Rabi Yochanan. Rabi Yochanan will tell you otherwise. And the Ma'aser Rabi Yochanan Rish Lakish, in 90% of cases or more, it's halacha to Rabi Yochanan. Halacha is what? Yush is not koine. And on the other hand, a pre-Yush sale, pre-Yush sale is halachically, even though it's not a real sale, you chayiv an Arba V'Chamisha. That's how Rabbi Yochanan explains. That's simple. Okay, yes, questions? I think, no, he was first, actually. Sorry. Go ahead, Rabbi Sayachish. Gufa samech tesumad aleph, the 4 line, the 2 dots. Gufa. Gufa means we are now focusing on something that was mentioned beforehand as a tangential thing, now becomes the focus. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said the line which you all identified with, Gozal v'lo nisyashu abaylim. Person stole or Gozal doesn't make a difference. Gozal and Ganav here does make a difference, by the way. V'lo nisyashu abaylim. The Baalim did not give up yet. We know they didn't give up. Yeah, they're going to fight their case and look for it. Shneim enen nechonin lahakdish. The real owner cannot be makdish, and the Ganav / Gazlan cannot be makdish either. Zeh lefi she'enu shaloi. The Ganav Gazlan cannot be makdish. Well, it's not his, so you can't be makdish something that's not yours, Mister. Definitely not before Yush. Everyone agrees to that, yeah? The owner cannot be makdish because it's his, but it's not under his real authority. Rashus not under his control. It's held by someone else against his will. That's what Rabbi Yochanan said. So nice. Frag the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan Hachi. Did Rabbi Yochanan really say such a thing? Rabbi Yochanan has a rule. The rule is halacha kistam Mishna, which means when a Mishnah says something anonymously, the Mishnah, Rabi HaKodesh, the editor of the Mishnah, sometimes, many times, he doesn't say Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Talfan, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Tana. He just says a Mishnah as the narrator of the Mishnah without mentioning name. That's called Stam Mishnah. Whenever we have a Stam Mishnah, says Rabbi Yochanan, halacha is like that. The reason Rabbi did not mention, says Rashi in a different place, Rabbi doesn't mention one name connected to it, because if you say Rabbi Akiva Omer, then we'd think, oh, that's his opinion, but it's not the mainstream opinion. When it's said as just it, as the general narrator of the Mishnah, that gives it the clout, that's the halacha. Ze aloche, because it's not mentioned on behalf of one specific person, even though it could be one specific person said it. What? It's not always Tanakama, it could be the last Tana, could be Tana Metziasa. Lamaisa, if it's not mentioned on behalf of anybody specific, it means that's the halacha. So says Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, so now we see. So now we're going to see a Mishnah. And if the Mishnah is going to have an opinion which is not mentioned on behalf of Tana X, it should be the halacha. And who said that? Rabbi Yochanan himself. Ooh, we're preparing a trap over here. It's none. Kerem Revai. What's Kerem Revai, my good friends? It's a Kerem that's in its 4th year. And because it's the 4th year, you're allowed to eat it. But wait a second. You first have to, let's assume you don't live in Yerushalayim. It's too heavy to take to Yerushalayim. You have to be poide, redeem it on money, eat it, betavon, make for 3 ha'etz, and then take the money to Yerushalayim and eat other stuff with it. Okay, Kerem Revai. Let's say I own a Kerem Revai somewhere in the Golan or Galil. I own a Kerem Revai, and I'm concerned that people may come by and take some of the grapes. And I say, wait, people may take from my grapes, and my grapes are all Revai. Let's say the entire Kerem is in its 4th year. Yeah, each and every grape there is in its 4th year. And maybe the people who come to take the grapes are not going to know that it's Kerem Revai. They're not prophets. They don't work for me. I don't even know them. They may come and partake of the grapes. If they don't know it's Kerem Revai, and maybe they'll be over an Avera to eat it like that without the chilul, the necessary chilul. So what do I do if I'm a nice guy? Kerem Revai hoyu mitzainin oisoy b'kzuzois adomo. Kerem Revai, they would mark it all around the kerem. They would mark it with kzuzois adomo, with clods of earth. Why dafka earth? Simano. Why earth? Kilo, different kind of earth, of course, different color, like a whole line all around. I think it was a line. I'm not sure exactly how it was done, but somehow they would mark it with or demarcate it with earth. Why earth denotes this is Kerem Revai. Why dafka earth is connected to Revai? Says the Gemara. Ki adoma. This is not the Gemara explaining the Mishnah. It's a Mishnah Meister Sheni, by the way. Ma adoma ika no mino. Just like adoma, the earth. If you work hard and you till the earth and you work in it and you toil and you eventually get good fruit, eventually afhai. This also the Kerem Revai. Ki mefarka. Once you redeem it. Yeah, you have to get, you'll get there. It has potential, the Kerem Revai, that if you go to Yerushalayim, you eat it there, you redeem it, you take the money to Yerushalayim. Yeah, eventually, Kerem Revai, there is hope. Just like the earth, the people know internationally, everybody knows, universally, everybody in Eretz Yisrael would know that when a field is marked with Adama, that shows this is Kerem Revai. Instead of just writing Kerem Revai in big black letters, maybe some people are illiterate, I don't know. They didn't write Kerem Revai, they just made a siman. Bishul Orlo. Let's say you have a field, an orchard, a grove of trees of Orlo. Orlo is which years are Orlo? I think it's first, second, and third. Very good. First, second, or third. Bishul Orlo. You tell me now. I'm sure you know the answer. Let's say I have a nut, let's say, or something like that, and I picked it off the tree in its second year, or before the third year, yeah, before the end of the third year, and I keep it for 3 years. Would that be mutter? Would I allow to use the fruit? No. All the fruit are also forever. The tree becomes mutter after the 4th year and then 5th year, yeah. But the fruit of orla are also forever and ever. It's one of the only things in the Torah also that are also bahano. Besides bosa b'cholov and kilayim, and maybe something else, but they are also bahano. You can't even have benefit from orla. So let's say my field is orla, and people don't know. Those trees are 2 years old, but like some bar mitzvah boy, they look much older. You know, they're 2.5 years old, but they don't look their age. So how do people know it's orla? People may come take from the fruit of the orla. So I want to make sure they're not over navera. They don't eat it. So how do I mark those? The chasis basically is ground stones that are ground, and I put there like stone, like lime, you know, like powder, stone powder, kind of limey kind of thing. That's what I put over there in order to show it's orla. Why dafka that? Simana kechasis. Chasis is connected to orla. Ma chasis shenano mino. You cannot grow anything in chasis. In stones, broken stones, there's nothing you can do with them. Ocheres hanishba. We said when it's toikef. Broken clay always shows something that's not worth anything. Afhai. So to orla, the lace be hano mine. Orla, you can never ever have hano from it. You will never be mutar bana. Not only it's also to eat, it's also to benefit. You can't make dyes from it or sell it to Mackenzie, nothing. You know Tim Mackenzie, Yaakov, yeah? Vishal Kvoris, these are at-home goy. Tim Mackenzie, couldn't find more goyish name. Vishal Kvoris Besid. Let's say you have a caver. Harav Moshe wants to go to a tiul, right, Moshe? And you have to know where's the caver. You don't become Tomeh, right? So let's say somebody knows that there's a caver, and no, he doesn't have money or time, whatever, to build a whole thing over there, stone, mausoleum. Yeah, he doesn't have the time and money. So right now, all he can do, besid, you can just mark it with plaster. Why plaster? Simona, the chiver keatzamois, as white as the bones. Plaster is white, bones are white, and what's in the caver now, unless it's the big tzaddik, the Chassam Sofer, the Ramchal, all that there is right now is just bones. So white plaster represents the bones, so people know, oh, it's white, it's a caver. And then again, he adds more water and he waters it down and he spills it all over the place to make it even whiter. Now, let me ask you a question. Who are these people I'm concerned about? I'm a nice firm guy from the Galil, and I have a Kerem Revai, or I have Orla, and what? And I'm concerned that people may take from me. And they don't know if it's Orla or Revai, so they don't know me or my field. And I'm worried about the Ruchnias. Are these people honest people? You think they're ganovim? Wait. Omar ben Shimon Gamliel, Bamet Dvorim Amurim. Now this is not a stam. But Shimon Gamliel's personal opinion is Bamet Dvorim Amurim, BDE. Bamet Dvorim Amurim. That's not Baruch Dan Emes. Bamet Dvorim Amurim. Beshvis Shmita Raboisa. Why saying ganovim? It's during the 7th year. I don't know if you know, but in the 7th year, every Jew can take from the field. The hefker ninu. It's hefker. So once it's shvit, shvit could be orla in shvit. Maybe I planted it a year ago, 2 years ago, or 4 years ago. Now it's shvis, and it's neta revai. So now it's hefker. People are legally allowed to go and take from the shvis field, right? As every child knows, and you all know, of course. Aval b'shal shnei shavua. Let's say the rest. What's shavua? What? A cycle, 7-year cycle. In the winter, he got a trip to Hawaii. That's Yaakov. Yeah. B'shal shnei shavua. I'm sure it's not your dream, by the way. B'shal shnei shavua. The other years of the Shemitah cycle, if a person takes then without permission, in my language, it's called Gimel Nun Beis. It's a ganav. And then says Rav Shimon Gamliel, oh, haliter l'rosha v'yamois. Give the Rasha to eat and he should die. Which haliter is like Esav. Haliteini no. Yeah. In other words, let him stew his own juices. He's the big tzaddik who's so concerned about Orla and about Kerem Revai. He's a ganav. He's a ganav. Let him stew his own juices. He made his bed. Let him whatever suffer there. Yeah. In other words, I don't have to be concerned about ganovim, and therefore I'm not going to mark anything. If they'll take, b'vakasha. That's what Rav Shimon Gamliel said. That snuim. Remember, we said snuim yesterday. Snuim are big tzaddikim. The snuim are people like Hasidim. They do, more. They do above and beyond. What do? Look what they do. Listen to what they do. Manichin and Samois. Now Orla, there's nothing you can do about, right? Orla, what can you do? Mark it. You can mark, okay? And I hope the ganav, like many ganavim, keeps kosher. Orla is not going to take. What about the Revai? Revai has hope. Revai, what can do if it's not a Revai or Kerem Revai and all it's kosher as long as it's been redeemed on money? Look what the Tznuim do. The Tznuim, they do even more than just marking. You know they do? Menichin esamois. They take a pile of coins, the oimrin, and they say, Kol hanilkat mizeh mechul alamois halolu. Aham. They say like this. Tosfos has a big question when they do it, so please don't ask me because I didn't see this Tosfos well enough. So don't ask me right now because I don't know. I'm being honest with you. Let's say at the end of every day, they say we know stuff was stolen. He comes and he sees a bit of grapes over here, a bit of grapes over there. Were taken, were borrowed. Yeah, what does he do? The big tzaddik ditzanua. He doesn't want the ganav to be over a worse avera, and therefore, what does he do? He takes money. The oimrim kol hanilkat mizeh, whatever was already taken from the grapes. Mechulal alamois halolu. He's mechulal on this money, on that money. Hopefully, they didn't eat it yet. Yeah. So what do you see? Wait, we see because this way he saves the ganavim from being over an avera. Whoa. That's against Rabi Yochanan. Hold it right there, mister. Yeah. Rabi Yochanan said you cannot do any halachic action. You can't act halachically on something that's not under your control. Well, these grapes are now, they're in the middle of Kvishesh already. I don't know where they are. Besides that, even if they're nearby, they're ganavim. And yet we see that you can actually take your money and be mechal the kedusha of grapes that are not in your reshus anymore, and you can do that. That seems to be head in the wall against Rabi Yochanan. And Rabi Yochanan said halachic is ta Mishna. Halachic is ta Mishna. And Snuin seems to be not like Rashbag, it's just the mainstream opinion. The mainstream opinion in the Mishnah said that's what Snuim do. And the Mishnah seems to endorse that. And that's against Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said halachic is ta Mishna. Oy vavoy. Get the question? You, Rabbi Yochanan, you're telling me what? That once it's in the Ganev's hand, you can be makdish, and I assume it's the same thing, can be mechalel, can be mafkir. That's it. It's not under your halachic control. And yet Rabbi Yochanan, who said halacha is like Stam Mishnah, looks like Stam Mishnah saying that I am able to actually exchange kedusha in grapes that are way out of my hands by the Ganev's hands. 1 minute. Let's just sharpen the question. We're not even saying The chitema, maybe you want to try and save Rabbi Yochanan and say, man taret tznuin Rashbag. Maybe tznuin is Rashbag's opinion. Remember, Abshim Gabriel said, let them eat, let them suffer from the onavera. And tznuin may be a quote of Rashbag. Rashbag is saying two things. Make your adin, if you're not a big tzaddik, if you're not a saint over here, you can actually let them suffer and be over an Isser. And the tznuin is a quote of Shimon Gamliel. And Rabbi Yochanan only says halacha like stam Mishna. Rashbag is not a stam Mishna, it's one particular opinion. So maybe that would save Rashbag from the story. Skip the parentheses. Again, Rabbi Yochanan, kol mokem sheshona Rashbag b'mishnasenu halacha k'maisoy. Boom. Chutz me'orav etzid and raya achrono. I'll explain everything. Rabbi Yochanan is the one who said that whenever Rashbag appears in the Mishnah, Shimon Gamliel, he's the star of the show. He's the one that we always paskin like, except for three cases, Orav Tzid and Raya Achrono, which I'm not explaining now. You'll just confuse more. There are three cases in Shas where Rashbag is wrong. He's not wrong. We don't paskin like him. But 99% of the cases says Rabbi Yochanan, we paskin like Rashbag. So let's just repeat the question and then I'll hear your question. Yeah? In other words, the question is as follows. Rabbi Yochanan says, the statement we said yesterday, we said today, if you are the owner of something, anything, and it was stolen, I feel very bad for you that this thing was stolen, and then what? And then at that moment, you cannot do anything halachic to that item. Yeah, you cannot be makdish, and we assume it's the same for other things. You can't be mechalel, you can't be mafkir. It's yours, but it's out of your actual control, and therefore you're not a man da'amar, unfortunately. Frag the Gemara, how can he say such a thing? Rabbi Yochanan seems to be a big fan of Rashbag, and Rashbag said that tznuim, and he believes tznuim are doing the right thing, they actually take money and they say, oy vavoy, my thing was stolen, I call mishamayim, oy tzaddik, and everything, and now I'm mechalel on my money here. I'm creating a very remote control Wi-Fi chilul on the grapes that are in the hands of who? Mr. Ganev Ganavsky. So, will Rabbi Yochanan make up his mind, Kivyochol? He's saying that it doesn't work, but Rashbag says it does work, and Rabbi Yochanan endorsed Rashbag in general. Question on Rabbi Yochanan. Tevaka Shah, you can ask your question. Tevaka Shah. Very good. Second Wadlan. Answers the Gemara. Amri, they say. Who's Amri? The yeshiva people. The Amoroim in general, the people in the yeshiva in Babel, they say, don't speak in past tense things that were already nil cut and are in the hands of the Ganev, because that ain't working anymore. It's not under your control. Which is not so simple, but that's basically your answer. Means as follows. The person, the owner who's a big tzaddik in Tsanua, he doesn't want the Ganovim to sin further. You know what it's going to do? It's going to go in the morning and say, anything that in future will be mislaket from here illegally by my friends, the Ganovim, now I am now pointing it that when they pick it, then off the tree will be chayiv now pidyon, then retroactively from now it will be mechulal. But I'm saying it now when it's under my control. Right now, nobody stole. He put a fence all around, no thieves. Right now, everything's under control. All the guards are watching, nobody's stealing. Now is the right moment. He says everything that's here, whatever will be mislaket in future, tomorrow, the day after, the month later, 2 months later, 2 months later, all that will be mislaket. Now I'm applying chilul to that. So I'm playing, I'm holding the rope on both ends. Now it's under my control. Before they even took it, and now I'm mechalel. But when will the chilul apply? When they pick it before they want to eat it, then the chilul should apply retroactively. Because chilul, it's not so simple. Tosfos discusses whether chilul applies b'chlal to things that are on the grapes. And anyhow, it's a new ownership over there. Now comes a whole new question. That brings us to a new question of, and that's going to be today and tomorrow's issue. I'm preparing you now. You're about to enter a whole new, not so new, you've seen it before, the world called Yesh Brera and Ein Brera. There's a big Bechlekes Tanoim in Eruvin, in Sukkah Daf Chaf Gimel, I think, in a few places. Do we believe in halacha in retroactive actions taking place or not? especially when it comes to Maestros, is the example, and Pidyonis, can I say, yeah, now I want to put something in a pause button, and when it will happen, retroactively, it will work from now. Yes or no? We seem to be saying yes, and it's okay. We say yes, yeah, maybe. The Shbag may possibly say, and Rabi Yochanan is his friend, and they say, yes, and Chinami, right now it's still under my control. Rabi Yochanan sticks to his guns. Only when it's under my control, it can do everything. Otherwise, no. Now it's under my control. Nothing was stolen now. Everything is here on the fruit, on the trees. Now I'll say, I'm mechalal now, and when they start eating it, then, or before they eat it, then it will retroactively, the chilul should work from now. I prefer no questions unless they're urgent, unless it's very, very nekudati. Now, now we have a problems with who is in which camp, who holds of what. Frag the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan Achi, third wide line. Remember Rabbi Yochanan Achi? Did Rabbi Yochanan ever say such a thing? Rabbi Yochanan says as follows: Snuin Rabbi Doisa Amud Dovo Echod. Yeah, which means Rabbi Yochanan says there's a statement which we'll see later by the Tana called Rabbi Doisa, and the Snuin and Rabbi Doisa say the same thing. Okay, whatever that means, we're going to see soon. Just remember the formula. Remember the formula. It's all about connecting A to B, B to C. Now, what did Rabbi Yochanan say? Snuin equals Rabbi Doisa. You know how to make the equal sign in math? Even I know how to do it. Yeah. Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Doisa and Snuin are the same. What did they say? Rabbi Doisa nilkat ka'omal. The problem is Rabbi Doisa spoke about nilkat, something nilkat already in the past. Let's see, the Tanya. You'll see it now. You'll see now what we're talking about, and then everything will be clear. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Now, just as an intro, we're not talking here about thieves. We're talking about anim, poor people. The poor people. You tell me, what are the three matnas anim in a regular wheat field? You have shikha and peah. What's the first one? Leket. If two stalks fall off the hands of the koitzer, of the harvester, they go to the anim. And the third one goes to the owner. Yeah. Now, not every oni is a big Talmid Chacham. It's also very hard technically, if you learn the Mishnahs, to figure out which one is first, the second, and third. Not everyone has hawk's eyes and the mind of Rabi Yosef. So Mimela, sometimes ani by mistake would take an extra stock or two. Could be by honest mistake. They're not Ganovim, and poor people, they're anim. So everybody who's not a real horrible bad midas kamtzan would not want the anim to be over an avera, right? So now, what do you do in order to legalize their mistakes? Because, just give them a break if they took an extra. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, look what they do. Shachris, in the morning, before the harvesting session of the day begins, before they open the door to all the anim, which may be erroneous, Balabais Omer, the Balabais stands up and declares regally, the Omer, Kol sheyil ketu anim hayoim, yefker. That's very good. Whatever the anim will collect will then become hefker, not retroactively. Whatever the anim will do will become hefker. Yeah, maybe actually no, it is retroactive. I think. In other words, whatever they will take, then already from now is becoming hefker. I think Rabbi, excuse me, it is retroactive. That's what Rabbi says. When it's still in my koach, before they took it, it's not in their hands. It's in my hands. I'm the owner. The stalks are standing there proud and tall before they were harvested. Right now, it's in my power, and I say whatever they will take will retroactively be hefker. Of course, they're allowed to take from hefker. There's also nafkamina. I'll ask you a question. Why can't it just be moichel them? Why making this whole tekes? Why making the whole ceremony? Why can the Balbai say shoina moichel? Right? Right? Says no. It's not an avera. If somebody takes, if I'm saying merosh, I'm moichel everything. I'm moichel, then everybody can take my stuff. Why does it have to be hefker? Not stamechila. I'll tell you why. It says Tosfos because of matnas anim. The oni himself, from leket shikha peah, he doesn't have to give meiser. He doesn't have to give all the other matanos. But if he took something to his hands, which is not leket, the Balbai says, "Shoin, the poor man, torn clothes. Now I'm a rich guy. Let him take the extra few. Yalla, I'm not going to be, as in Hebrew we say, mitlachlech. I'm not going to, lower myself. But the meiser, if it's still called not matnas anim, and it falls, then he's chayav meiser. The Oni will have to take meiser, and the Oni doesn't, because the Oni thinks that it's leket. But once I say it's hefker, then it's okay. So from hefker, you don't have to take meiser. That's the reason. We want to pater them from Meisers. That's what we say hefker. That's what? True. Oh, but that's why he doesn't want to mafka the entire field. He doesn't want the rich guy to take. So that's what's very smart. He doesn't have the entire field as hefker. He says whatever the Anim will take, and only the Anim, not the guy who works in high tech and he's with a nice tie and he's time taking advantage. No questions for the next few minutes. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're talking here about a guy who's caring about the Anim. And the Anim, he says, whatever they take, retroactive will be hefker. Rabbi Doisa Oimer, look at this. Rabbi Doisa, listen carefully, because Rabbi Doisa seems to be with Rabbi Yochanan Litznuin. Leitute Erev, what's Leitute Erev? Towards nighttime, when it's twilight, when it's afternoon, yeah, like Ben Hashmoshes. Oimer, then he says, at the end of the day, Kol Shalok to Anim hefker. He says, whatever the Anim already took, maybe already in their house, maybe already cooking on the fire, that is hefker. So you see, Rabbi Doisa doesn't like the retractive story. Rabbi Doisa does say that I can actually have a halachic nafkamina and be mafkir something that is not in my hands. It's in the hands of the Anim. They're not ganobim, but it's not in my hands. They took it. It's in their house. They're not going to let me take it back. They think it belongs to them legally. They think that it's part of the matnas anim. Upat, that's not good. What's happening here? Why? You told me that snuim are talking about something that's pre-done before the taking, and he would say no. You say that Rabbi Doisa and the snuim say the same, and Rabbi Doisa said you do it le'achar ma'aser, not pro the ma'aser, but post the ma'aser when it's in the hands of the anim. And you, Rabbi Yochanan, you were hell bent against it. Rabbi Yochanan is the one who says you cannot act on things that are already not in your hands. And here says snuim and Rabbi Doisa say the same. You wanted to tell me Tznuim are talking before the Maisa. No, it's Tznuim now you're telling me are talking Le'achar Maisa. Because that's what Rabbi Doisa said, Le'achar Maisa, after it's in the hands of the Anim. And then it does work, yeah? You say that halachic action can take after it's in the hands of the other guy. That's not Rabbi Yochanan. And he said Tznuim and Rabbi Doisa are the same. And he follows Tznuim because they're the stomach. Answers the Gemara, Eipuch de Rabbi Yoda Rabbi Doisa, Rabbi Doisa Rabbi Yehuda. The Brisa is not accurate. What you thought is Rabbi Yehuda is Rabbi Doisa and vice versa. Really, Rabbi Doisa is the one who said pre-Maisa, and Rabbi Yehuda is the one who said post the Maisa. Everything is good. Prices are not always exact. So it's okay, Rabbi Doisa and Rabbi Yehuda can switch over, and therefore Rabbi Doisa and Snuim are the same. Which same? The same Rabbi Yochanan likes. The Rabbi Yochanan style of same. Before the Maisa was done, before it's in the hands of the Anim, before it's too late, because once in the hands of the Anim, Rabbi Yochanan says he can't do anything. Then says Rabbi Doisa, in the boiker, in the morning, when it's still under your control, then you can do whatever you want. One more, allow me. Amai, frag the Gemara. Amai apchas masnisa. Why do you switch over a brisa to rearrange a brisa? Is the bigger chiddush. Apchal Rabbi Yochanan. It's much better if you switch over Rabbi Yochanan. Can't you switch his statements? We have a problem here, right? Rabbi Yochanan follows Tznuin, right? And says Tznuin and Rabbi Doisa are the same. Then we have a brisa. Rabbi Yochanan says A equals B. Then we have another one says B equals C. But then sometimes there is not good because A is not allowed to be equal to C. A equals B, then B equals C, then A equals C. No, Rabbi Yochanan says A cannot be C. So there are two ways, whichever one you want to switch over. Why are you switching over the brisa, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Doisa? Switch Rabbi Yochanan statement, be'ema, and tell me Tznuin Rabbi Yehuda amud davar echad. Leave Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Doisa as they are. Rabbi Yehuda talks about the morning, Rabbi Doisa in the evening. Forget about Rabbi Doisa and say that Rabbi Yehuda is like Tznuim that they said before the Maisa. That's it, very easy. You switch Rabbi Yochanan, it's easier to switch Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Doisa, and everything will be fine. Everything will be great. You have Rabbi Yochanan saying Rabbi Yehuda and Tznuim are the same before it was taken. When it's still under my hands is Rabbi Yehuda is like Tznuim, and Rabbi Doisa we don't follow. Answers the Gemara, Amri lo isagia, the lo misapeches mesnisa. No, you anyhow have to switch that brisa. Mesnisin ktani the isla Rabbi Yehuda breira. In this brisa, we say Rabbi Yehuda holds a breira. That itself is wrong. Forget about Tznuim. Forget about Rabbi Yochanan. Forget about everything. From now on, we're going to focus on breira. This brisa that says Rabbi Yehuda says you can stand up in the morning and make a declaration statement. All which will be nilkat, will be taken by the Anim. They are for now hefker. Retroactively, once it's taken to the name, retroactively it will be hefker. Rabbi Yehuda holds yesh breira. Shamina Rabbi Yehuda be'alma delays le breira. No, Rabbi Yehuda, and now I'll hear you. Rabbi Yehuda says in other places clearly, Ein Breira. Ein Breira means retroactive actions ain't working. He does not believe in doing something, relying that something will happen in the future and then retroactively be valid from now. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of that. So this brisa of Rabbi Yehuda talking about acting in the morning before the Aniyim took it and relying on Breira, on retroactiveness, anyhow it doesn't work. So leave Rabbi Yochanan alone, anyhow this brisa is not right. Imela Rabbi Yochanan can take a ride on the bandwagon and say, anyhow this brisa is wrong. Imela I would tell you, very good, excellent. I'll tell you, Tznuim Rabbi Doisa say the same. And really, Rabbi Doisa is the one who spoke about the morning and Rabbi Yehuda in the evening. Questions? To the patient people. Yes. Thank you very much.